Good evening, race fans, and welcome once again to Martinsville Speedway, where we're getting set to start the second round of the playoffs for the SSCA Sim Speed Shop Truck Series. In just a few weeks' time, we will know who our Championship 4 are, but we could very well learn who one of them is tonight if they can take a win here at the paperclip. This is the Lefty Pro 200, and you're going to get to watch all of the action unfold live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi everyone, I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Our director Joe Peak is doing all of the button pushing from behind the scenes, and he's using camera sets provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, many of these simulated trucks were not looking too healthy after the last race at Talladega, and unfortunately for these drivers, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more fenders get roughed up tonight.
I think that's a certainty, Sam, and I think I'm having a case of deja vu right now. You know, this is a half-mile track that opened in 1947 in beautiful, scenic little Ridgeway, Virginia. Sam, it was the first track in NASCAR history to actually get paving on the surface. So they came out of the dirt and onto the pavement here, and they did it at Martinsville first. Now, Sam, this track, 12 degrees of banking. It's a long straightaway. It's a drag race down that straightaway. You get into that 12-degree banking, and you've really got to get on the binders. It's going to throw a lot of heat to the tires, into the brakes. The narrow turns make it really hard to get through with multiple trucks in there. So, and you've got to be careful exiting the turns because the truck has a lot of torque, and that rear end wants to just jump out on you if you try to mash the pedal. But listen, the best thing to do this evening is try and keep the truck clean. And the best way to look at it is on board the clean Chevrolet Silverado with another GSRC lap around Martinsville.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global SimRacing Channel. My name is Brian Yazek and I'll be taking you for a spin around Martinsville Speedway in the GSRC Silverado. Martinsville is all about corner middle to corner exit. If you can master those two things, you will find yourself in victory lane today. So, setting up the entrance into the corner is important, as you see here, trying to find that curbing on the inside of the track. But don't get too low because then the car will actually jump out on you. Back down into turn 3 once again, find the yellow, back into the gas. Now your braking point here is probably a little bit later than you would be in the Cup car just because of the lack of power, but too far down, and that's what happens to you right there. You get a little squirrely on entrance, and it basically kills your whole run off of the back straightaway. So back down into turn 3, float it through the middle on the brakes, still back into the gas really hard. Let that truck surge out of the corner. Back down into turn 1 one more time. Float it through the middle on the brakes very lightly. Back into the gas extremely quickly. Coming back down into turn 3, you're going to, once again, find the bottom. And Martinsville is a very rhythm-based track. So what'll happen is you find yourself in a nice little rhythm. You can kind of float the truck in the way you like it. But the right rear tire is going to be your best friend. If you abuse it too much early on in the run, it will make you pay later in the run because coming off the corners, you're going to be sideways the entire way off of the corner. Martinsville puts on a great show. It's a fun little paperclip track, and the winner today will be the one that does not have any scratches, or at least the least amount of scratches on their vehicle. My name is Brian Yazek, and this is Martinsville Speedway.
Out of the lap guide and on to the LeftyPro.com 200 tonight here at Martinsville. Folks, Lefty Productions has over 10 years of experience in digital media production. They specialize in aerial, drone video, and photography, as well as commercial video production, motion graphics, editing, and filmmaking. Yes, filmmaking. Let them help you turn your ideas into a reality. Lefty Productions is a licensed commercial drone operator. That's really important. You don't want random drones flying around. But listen, contact Gary over there. You can get a hold of him at his email address, Gary@LeftyPro.com. Visit their website, LeftyPro.com. It was on there today. Pretty slick website, actually. Some cool stuff to look at. So go check that out. And, well, with that, Sam, it's probably time to take a look at the championship standings, since we are in the first race here of the second round. Moving on, it's William Hartman currently at the top. Yeah, there's William Hartman. And Sam, this is the same as the first round. Win and you're into the third and final round of the playoffs, which is the championship race. But there's Hartman, Danielson. Now, Hartman is at the top with those 27 playoff points. The top 8, there's a tie down there at 7th, but these 8 drivers are eligible to make it to that championship round. And, well, Donahue and McFadden back there tied. They've got no championship points to playoff points to bolster their effort here. They're looking for wins and segment wins, Sam, to really find the chance to get into this final round.
And you see the 4 drivers at the bottom of your screen there who weren't so fortunate, were not able to score enough points in the first round of the playoffs to advance this far. That's Joe Johnson, Sean Callis, Jeff Martin and Robert McFarland. Sean Callis was by the narrowest of margins. He avoided the last lap wreckfest, basically, that we saw at Talladega, cross the line in 5th position. Unfortunately, that was not enough points, as we just mentioned, and saw on screen, to advance to second round of the playoffs. But there you see, he is still here. He is still racing today in that number 43 machine, and actually not doing too bad in qualifying right now, in 4th place. That's why you see the trucks on track currently trying to turn their best laps in qualifying to get a good position on the grid, and the driver doing the best job of that right now, Sean, is William Hartman.
Yeah, big surprise there, huh? Hartman finds himself at the top of qualifying. Big open qualifying session tonight, Sam. Only 3 minutes of it left, and Hartman's got it parked, and so does Adam Eisenhower, and they sit on that front row right now. Judd Danielson out there digging for more right now. He sits 3rd. Can he get a little bit better? It seems 19.7 is the watermark right now, and Judd Danielson sitting there with a 19.8. Can he squeeze another 10th out of it here in the last 2.5 minutes?
Well, that's a nice thing about that's a nice thing about qualifying here at Martinsville, though, Sean. 2.5 minutes, you can get plenty of laps in.
Sure.
Particularly, let's talk about the laps and what these drivers are going to be faced with today with our series and race details. As we mentioned, this is round 4, race 4 of the playoffs, but it's essentially the second round. The playoffs are being broken into races 1, 2, and 3 made up the first round. Races 4, 5, and 6 are going to make up this second round. Those are at Martinsville, Texas, and Phoenix, respectively. And then, of course, our 7th and final playoff race is the grand finale at Homestead. These are the NASCAR Camping World Series trucks that you see in the truck series here. So the Chevy Silverado and Toyota Tundra. Fixed setups, 5 sets of tyres you'll get to use throughout the race. If you cause 2 incidents during the event, you will be penalised. And unfortunately, we might see a couple of drivers fall into that rule here tonight, the way short track racing goes, and tempers bound to flare within that 3rd and final stage in particular. And if there is a caution within the last few laps, don't worry, we will finish this race under green.
Right, they will get a green-white checker chance here at the end, implemented by the league. Sam, the top 10 get to finish that stretch there under green-white checker. We've got 15 trucks tonight. There are a couple not eligible for qualifying. Jeremy Crandall and Russ Coe are not eligible for qualifying, so they'll both be starting at the back. Right now, David Gervais is not qualified a lap, and Robert McFarland currently sits at the end of 12 trucks so far that have put in a qualifying lap here with 30 seconds to go. William Hartman is the man, and it just doesn't seem like he's going to be challenged unless maybe Sean Callis can rip off a really good lap here.
Yeah, Sean Callister has now been bumped down to 5th place, but even if he could find 4 thousandths of a second, that would bump him back up onto the second row. I think he's got too many laps on his tyres now. He's just trying to get a rhythm going, Sean, because really that's what Martinsville is about here. You want to get a good rhythm going.
Yep, this is a rhythm track. It's also a really tough track, Sam. There's no gimme here at Martinsville. There never is. Your head better be on a swivel, and if you're in VR, it will be. You'll be craning your neck all over the place trying to figure out where everybody's at. Such tight quarters here, and it generally never ends good when trucks get together. Yeah, the straightaways are kind of wide, and the turns narrow up a bit, but trust me, there just never seems like any place to go when they wreck up in front of you.
All right, qualifying is over, and it's time to hand out the round 20 Sim Speed Shop Pole Award. The winner of that is going to be William Hartman, and for every 2 poles, a driver earns $5, and the driver with the most poles at the end of the season earns $20, courtesy of simspeedshop.com, which is a great place to order custom button boxes, as well as to buy and sell used equipment. For more information, go to simspeedshop.com. All right, let's have a look at our starting lineup here. They're about to do 2 pace laps around the paperclip with William Hartman and Adam Eisenhower leading them off, Sean.
All right, you get a row 2. It's going to be Judd Danielson and Ray Richer.
Sean Callist, saw a lot of him doing qualifying. He'll be starting 5th alongside him, Jeff Martin.
Row 4 is going to be filled out by Daniel Jackson in the number 84 and Michael Dullard in the number 31.
Then rounding out the top 10 is Kevin Fetty and Mark McFadden.
All right, and then we got a row 6, Mike Donahue in his number 70, and Robert McFarland starting 12th tonight in a double I.
David Gervais and Russ Coe round out row number 7, and Jeremy Crandall in 15th. All 3 of those drivers did not turn the lap during qualifying, and actually still waiting to see if Jeremy Crandall will grid up. All of the other trucks are lined up there. He's got 20 seconds left. Well, talking about that Sim Speed Shop Pole Award for William Hartman there, Sean, and those button boxes that those guys provide, what would be your go-to button here at Martinsville? If you could just have one button.
Go-to? That is a tough question. My relative. Yeah, I'd want to make sure I knew who was around me and where they were on track in relation to where I was on track. I think keeping an idea of what that relative speed's all about. I think that would be the one I'd want to make sure I had programmed and I had somewhere where I remembered it, because again, things happen really, really fast here at Martinsville, and you better know where the guys are around you and how quickly they're closing on you at certain points in the race. You know, these trucks, honestly, Sam, they get about 120 laps on fuel. It's really not going to be a factor this evening. It's going to be all about racing this track and the guys next to you tonight.
Jeremy Crandall did grid up, so all 15 trucks here tonight are about to start. Now, worth noting, only 7 of our 8 playoff contenders are here. There is no Chris Scala here right now, but Chris Scala fans, do not be too concerned, because he made it through round 1 of the playoffs despite only showing up once. He showed up at Las Vegas, second race in the playoffs, and won it. So he's definitely not out of the woods yet. Hopefully for Chris Scala fans, he'll show up at Texas or Phoenix, get a W, make it into Homestead. All right, we're about to go racing here at Martinsville. William Hartman leading them through turns 3 and 4. For those about to race, we salute you, because it's about to get wild here at Martinsville.
And turn 1, and is it wild yet? Not quite. Everybody behaving there, getting out of turn 2.
Well, Adam Eisenhower really went deep into the first turn, and that cost him a position on the inside to Judd Danielson. And you see just the trucks starting up on the high lane, Sean, they're instantly at a disadvantage.
Yes, they are, and there's only one left up there now. Seems like everybody else has stepped in the line. It's the number 15 of Jeff Martin, still trying to find a place to drop in, and no contact. That's the 70 there, Mike Donahue getting into the back of Fetty, and Boy, Donahue makes contact with a spinning Jeff Martin there coming out of turn 4.
And Jeff Martin spins on lap number 2 with a lot of help from behind, it must be said, and that driver will likely be told to go to the back for the restart. That's something the SSCA imposes on drivers that bring out a caution.
There's the replay. And it is a little bit of side-by-side contact between Martin and Fetty that gets... well, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, Fetty hits, you see it here. This is on board with Donahue. Donahue's going to hit Fetty, and then Fetty's truck's going to get around and clip the 15 there of Jeff Martin.
Yeah, so if anything, I think it would be Mike Donahue may be told to go to the back. One nice thing about these short tracks, Sean, even though you do see a few more wrecks than normal, sometimes the trucks are able to get away with them because they are wound up so much in the turns.
Yeah, well, Sam, like I said in the pre-race, things do happen quick, and you got to have the reflexes to overcome that. That was actually a light one. The damage I'm seeing pretty light on the trucks that were involved. That is a good thing about Martinsville. When you talk about good things here, is that obviously aero damage not going to kill your run necessarily. What you do have to have is a truck that still handles well after you get in a little tangle like that.
And sure enough, race control now confirming first that Mike Donahue will be sent to the back for the restart. Jeff Martin also back. I can't imagine he would have used up one of his sets of tyres this early on, probably pitting just to get some damage repaired. Now, one nice thing on iRacing about having short track races is the cautions don't last too long. Obviously, they don't have to wait like 10 minutes to clear up debris and have 20 lap cautions like we see in races here in real life. They just need to get re-racked, regrouped, the pace car lights go off, and we will be back underway at the completion of lap number 7.
Yeah, you know, the laps, Sam, just under 20 seconds, or right at about 20 seconds. So it's pretty easy to do the math, and you try and figure out how long a race like this is going to last. It's not long, folks. And trust me, if they get a green flag run, we're really going to be cooking.
Here we go, about to get back going again. Judd Danielson going to restart on that undesirable high side. Once again, William Hartman gets a nice jump, waits until after the start line before he pulls up to make that turn as wide as he can. Oh, Judd Danielson spun by Eisenhower.
Boy, Eisenhower just couldn't get that truck slowed down, Sam. Man, that caused quite a melee. Everybody trying to get up to speed right there when that happened.
Good news is the caution, I think, flew quite early because Danielson was spinning on the racetrack, and that means even though we saw a lot of scattering going around, most of the drivers should be able to rejoin where they were at the time of caution, with, of course, the exception of Danielson and Eisenhower, who also went for a spin.
Well, I'll tell you, one truck who might have got most of the damage in that, Sam, was Sean Callis. I'm trying to look at his truck now. He picked up some pretty heavy front end damages on the left front. You see Eisenhower there with the contact, and boy, he just narrowly avoids getting to the end of the pit wall.
So, 2 quick cautions to start the race here at Martinsville. And I mean, even though it's a short track, kind of unexpected for these guys, Sean. Normally, they're quite clean, the SSCA drivers, through stage 1 and 2. I wouldn't be surprised in the last stage if we saw this.
Well, Sam, I think we've become a little spoiled. I mean, we've gotten used to seeing them get off to great starts to races in the first and second segments, and like you said, you know, things get mixed up in the third segment always, but. Only 15 trucks tonight. I think they'll need to work on a little bit of racecraft going forward here. Maybe try and get this the rest of this first segment in, Sam, without too much more worry here. every truck in the field here close to having just a little bit of a ding on it here at this point.
Do we need to explain the Angry Birds effect here, Sean? It's been a while since I used this one. I always say, watching a short track race like this, the trucks kind of end up being like the pigs in the game of Angry Birds. You know, they never die. You keep hitting them and they keep getting beaten, battered until eventually, though, they go pop at the end of the game. And hopefully none of these trucks will go pop by the end of lap 150.
Well, Sam, this could be an interesting restart to this race. You know, a lot of trucks involved in that last incident. Danielson, Eisenhower, Jackson, Callis, McFadden, McFarlane, and Martin all involved in that.
Meanwhile, this is going to move. Actually, we have a couple of Jeff Martin and Judd Danielson. Oh, okay. We got a few drivers right here behind the pace car who are on the tail end of a lead lap. They're about to get the wave around here, be back on the lead lap, back right behind the leaders. Only one driver being shown one lap down, and that's Adam Eisenhower. The good news for him is if we do get another third quick caution, that will move him back up onto the lead lap as the leaders come around to complete lap number 14, with William Hartman once again in control of the field on the inside. Sean Callis sitting in that position you really don't want to be in. Another good restart by Hartman. Although that time he was a bit eager to get back up to the high lane. We'll wait and see what race officials say about that. Daniel Jackson looking for second.
Yeah, and him and Callis already banging doors there as they fight there through the center of 3 and 4. And it does look like Dan Jackson going to hold on to that second place spot. He's going to, take it away there from Callis. Callis looking over his shoulder at Ray Richer. He's coming back on him, Sam.
Yeah, well, Daniel Jackson has a lot of damage to the front end of his Toyota. I hope that's not hurting his top end speed. Of course, if you have a track where, you know, aerodynamics doesn't really matter, it's here. Oh, but stuff like that doesn't help you.
Well, Callis back to second here, and already Jackson maybe looking to cross him over. Not enough power out of 4. Callis going to streak away just a bit.
Jeremy Crandall gets turned on the front straight by the 24 of David Gervais. And that is a caution Adam Eisenhower is looking for. That will put him back on the lead lap.
You know, we're going to see here on the replay, Gervais is the 24. That's the red and blue truck up there. Car just really kind of drifted off the exit, Sam, there, down towards the middle of the track, and he makes that contact. Unfortunate contact with Jeremy Crandall. Both trucks get a little beat up with that one. All right, well, go ahead, Sam.
John Callis has been the first driver to hold on to that second place from the restart so far today, Sean.
Yeah, and Callis, one of those drivers, got a little bit of damage on his truck too, Sam, so Callis looking to make it maybe a long night. We'll see. Jeff Martin sitting in the pit right now. He's in for a second stop, getting more damage on that truck repaired.
Now, worth noting here, Sean, we're already approaching the halfway point of the opening stage. Even though most of this has been under yellow, all the laps have been counting. This first stage, just 50 laps. Second stage, another 50 laps. And then 100 laps to finish it all off. So, a 200-lap race. Fuel shouldn't be a concern. These drivers can get about 120 laps on the tank. If we keep getting this many yellows, they might not have to come in at all.
It's true, Sam. There is a possibility you could make that work, but I don't think anybody will be playing around with that tonight. Like I said, I think you can throw the fuel strategy part of it, like you said, the fuel strategy part of it out the window. Looks like it was Eisenhower that got that wave around that we were talking about, Sam, on that last restart. And Russ Coe coming back down into the pit lane there all of a sudden as the lights have gone out on the pace car. They have not. I'm sorry.
No, they're still on to me. And Russ Coe, David Gervais, Jeff Martin, all in the pits, I think, getting a bit of damage repaired. Jeff Martin, actually, just disconnected from the server.
Well, he might have had maybe too much damage to continue. Hard to say. Shame to see him gone here so early.
And he's not one of the playoff drivers, but of course this does mean for our 7 playoff drivers here that the worst they can do now is 14th. And that will help them all gain points on Chris Scala. Now, let's also remember, Chris, despite not being here, he comes in with a little bit of a points advantage over some of his competitors from playoff points that he's gotten in previous rounds. And now those pace car lights are offshore.
And hey, listen, all Scala's got to do, Sam, is show up and win a race. That changes.
That's easy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, here we go. Hartman and Callist. Once again, Hartman gets a nice restart. Actually, a very nice restart. Callist does have someone underneath him this time. And in fact, there's someone underneath his rear bumper. Bit of a bump from Ray Richter going into turn 1.
Yeah, Dullard stuck down there. And Dullard's going to make another run at him there. In the 3. Oh, he runs up the track a little bit. Callis gives way. Callis still hanging on to that 3rd spot.
So Daniel Jackson now moves up into 2nd place. He'll try and run our race leader, William Hartman, down. Callis gets going again in 3rd, ahead of Michael Dullard, Ray Richter, Kevin Feddy, Mark McFadden, Jeremy Crandall, Robert McFarland, and Judd Danielson rounding out the top 10. But Danielson under pressure by Mike Donahue.
Yeah, Razor having a little bit of a fight there with Donahue. Razor stuck up top, trying to get that LeftyPro.com Toyota to turn. McFarlane in the way.
I almost wonder if potentially this could be a result of Donahue putting on some new tyres early on here, Sean. If he thinks he flat spotted them from when he was locking up and spinning earlier.
Well, Danielson's starting to move now, trying to get back up to the front of this field. We've got 2 packs that have kind of developed, Sam. Jeremy Crandall at the back of that first one, and boy, up front, they're still battling for 3rd.
Yeah, now they're battling for 2nd. Daniel Jackson was really out of shape in the previous corner.
Let's open things up here for Callis. Callis trying to get him, and just behind him, Ray Richter and Michael Dullard are at it.
Yeah, Dullard now in that undesirable high line, being pressured for 4th place as they come into complete lap 29. So we'll soon be clicking off the last laps of this stage if we stay green. But with the size of this pack battling for 3rd right now, that's not a guarantee.
Boy, Dullard driving it in deep back there, Sam.
William Hartman has opened up a 2.5 second lead over this pack, where Daniel Jackson, even though he's running in 2nd, he has a bit of damage, and I almost wonder if he's struggling a bit, because it looks like Callist and everyone behind him is closing down on that 84 truck.
You know what, Sam? Everybody's behaving themselves here so far. We're starting to get these laps in. We'll be to 50 here just before we can blink. Start. And a bad moment for what was that, the 48 of Mark McFadden. Woo! He was really loose out of turn 2.
Yeah, Michael Dullard in the 31 was in the wall out of turn 2. Looks like he got away with it okay, though. It's nice to see Daniel Jackson back out here, by the way. I believe, let me check this, on the 84 car. He is from the Carolina area. He's actually from the coastal.
Oh, and it's David Gervais. David Gervais's damaged truck gets loose on the backstretch. Coming off the turn 2, Sam. Gervais in that number 24. That's a hard hit, too. That's going to be a hard one to recover from. Daniel Jackson deciding to come to the safety and shelter of pit road.
Maybe this is him thinking ahead, Sean. He might be thinking a lot of drivers will be coming to pit at the end of stage number 1, and he wants to beat them in.
It might be a sound strategy, Sam, and it technically, he comes in now. He may not have to come in again at any point during this race. We pick up a few more cautions here and there. He could just stay in position. Let's face it, if you run the kind of line that Hartman's been running here the last several laps, and you start up front every time on these restarts, he's going to be in pretty good shape. So we'll see.
Working our 4th caution of this race, and there's not going to be a lot of laps left to go until lap number 50, Sean, when stage 1 will come to an end. Once we get going, I have a feeling the pace car lights will go off in a couple laps actually, and that will leave us with about an 11 or 12 lap shootout, and in fact they just went off now. So William Hartman about to leave him around, and actually a 13 lap shootout to end the stage. Once again, Catalyst is up down the high side, but Catalyst hasn't done too bad of a job restarting second here today. He's been able to get down low pretty quickly.
He hasn't, and if he could just figure out a way to get the jump on Hartman here as the Ford Mustang pace car peels off the track, Sam, we're ready to go.
13 trucks still on the lead lap. Jackson 1 lap down, Martin out of the race. Once again, a nice restart by Hartman. Yeah. Gets up high very quickly, but Callis, no one to his inside, really deep into turn 1.
Boy, and so was Duller, man. Woo!
Boy, the action is picking up as they know there's points on the line.
Watch out. Jeremy Crandall was hot and loose going into turn 3. Gervais has pulled off, Sam. He's in the pit.
It's unfortunate for the driver of a 24 who was 2 laps down after the previous incident. So Hartman leading, Callis, Dullard, Richer, Kevin Fetty now up into 5th.
Yeah, Fetty was having a little tussle there with McFadden, but they have sorted it out, and now Fetty is into that 5th spot. Working on the rear bumper there, Ray Richer, that Chevrolet in front of him.
Bit of a pack shaping up here at the tail end of a top 10 in the second half of this stage. Jeremy Crandall in that multicolored 73 machine there, running right in the middle of it. As David Gervais coming back out on the track, you see slow on the bottom side of the circuit there.
That multicolored machine that we were just looking at there of Jeremy Crandall, that's the Victory Junction Gang, Sam. NASCAR related charity started by Kyle Petty. You know what? Boy, I'll tell you what, Adam Eisenhower just had a scary moment. He was chasing down Judd Danielson and then got really, really wicked off of turn 2.
Fortunately, he's able to keep it pointing in the right direction in that number 86 machine. Adam Eisenhower not competing for points in this series. He's going to be racing in the AdPro 360 Challenger Series, which you'll see here tomorrow night on GSRC. He's competing over in the playoffs in that division.
Hartman starting to look like he might be the guy to win this first stage, Sam. He has now dropped them a second and a half. Callis, Dullard, second and third, but William Hartman has got his Toyota running very, very well around the paperclip this evening, and 5 laps to go, and he will take home a segment win here in the first race of the second round.
Good battle for second going on between Sean Callist and Michael Dullard. Dullard really deep into the turn, almost slid up into Callist. That's actually going to hurt the driver for 31 on the exit there. He might have to watch out for Ray Richer behind him.
Yeah, well, Dullard's been doing this since the race started, man. It comes with a cost. If you're going to get in there that hot, you better be able to slow down and make it turn and not let it run up the track. That could be really fatal for your opponent there on the outside. Callis doing a great job of keeping him in mirror here at the moment. Dullard's got to be careful not to overdrive this truck. Got to be patient. There's a long way to go. But only 2 laps left in this segment.
And 2.5 laps for our leader right now, William Hartman, who's pulled out a 2-second lead. You talk about Hartman there, Sean, definitely one of the well, not one of the dominant driver during the regular season. Didn't do too hot during the first round of the playoffs. However, he came in with so many bonus points that he enters the second round still holding down that points lead. It looks like he'll be able to extend that a little bit at the end of the opening stage here. 1 lap left to go in stage number 1. Looks like we're going to know our winner. Maybe not second yet, though, because that's still hot and heavy with Callis holding off Dullard, Richer and Febby.
Yeah. Richer's sitting there ready to clean up, Sam, if these two should get into it.
But here comes William Hartman out of turn number 4, crosses the line to complete lap 50. And sure enough, soon enough, the yellow will fly once again and signal the end of stage number 1, and there she flies, our 5th caution of a race. The question, Sean, is anyone going to play the strategy card now?
Well, will they? That's well, we got to see here. What are these guys going to do? I think there's a lot of curiosity about this, the ending of the first stage. I haven't gotten any secret information this week, Sam.
Well, Hartman's coming in, and everyone else is coming in too, it looks like. But boy, Sean Callis still left a massive gap between himself and Hartman. Hartman's going to be able to grab a bite and a drink before he wins this race off of pit road. Worth noting that not all of the drivers coming into the pits, Rusko, Daniel Jackson and David Gervais staying out, although Jackson and Gervais are not on the lead lap right now.
All right, I'm watching him here in the pit, Sam. I see a lot of trucks going up for tires. Left and right sides back here for Dullard, Fetty, and McFadden. Jed Danielson missed his stall. He went ahead and just rolled on through, Sam. I think he's going to take another stab at it.
Yeah, he didn't come back down pit road. I guess he's going to elect just to stay out and lead this race. Now this is interesting. Daniel Jackson is being shown as second behind him, but surely Jackson has to drop to the back for the restart because he just got the lucky dog. Oh, he's coming into pit anyway, so that'll drop him back to the tail end of the lead lap. Trying to work out how Jackson lost a lap, Sean.
Was that pit stop, wasn't it, Sam? It's the pit stop, yeah.
Yeah, that dropped him back, but yeah, it shouldn't have made him lose a lap, but that was the case. He's back on the lead lap now, though, and plenty of time to try and get back up front. William Hartman is being told to drop to the back for the restart. I almost wonder, Sean, if that's because he's been changing lanes on the restarts. I have seen him quite a few times go from the bottom to the top before they hit the start line.
Yeah, Sam. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything from race control on what exactly happened there, so I'm not clear. But hey, we're gonna restart it regardless. So here we go.
Judd Danielson, for the first time tonight, will lead the field back to green at the completion of lap 56. 44 laps to go to the end of stage 2. Michael Dullard on the high side. And if that is what Hartman was sent to the back for, Judd Danielson wasn't told, because he went straight up high. But far, far high goes Michael Dullard, and that's going to open the door for Sean Callis for second. Danielson leading Callis around. Now, remember, Danielson's on old tyres here.
Yes, he is, Sam, and we're going to see what difference tires make. My spidey senses are tingling back here with Fetty and Dullard. Fetty's gotten a run at Dullard a couple times here, almost made contact. Ray Richards stepping easy back there. Fetty down the bottom, sees an opening. Dullard continues to overdrive his Toyota.
Oh, Callis gets into the back of Danielson, and that is going to bring out the yellow. And I'm sure Callis is going to argue there that Danielson came down on him, but we'll give you guys an idea on the replay. It definitely looked like there wasn't a whole lot of room for the 43.
Yeah, there you go, Sam. It just, quarters got a little too tight there, didn't they? And Danielson finds himself backed up into the wall. Here we go, a little bit of a different shot from above. And they'll come all the way down here, the front stretch, down into turn 1. And yeah, just, you weren't clear, Judd, but that's sometimes hard to know here, Sam. I talked about the importance in the pre-race of knowing where your opponents were on this track. And obviously right there, just a small case of not sensing he was right there. And, that results in this caution play.
Well, Judd did come down on him, but at the same time, Sean Callis wasn't right on the curb. There was a bit of track between himself and the bottom, and they are going to tell Sean Callis to drop to the back for this restart. So that'll move Michael Dullard and Kevin Fetty up to the front.
Well, Sam, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. We've seen several drivers towards the front, and then they drop back. But right now, Dullard and Fetty are going to get a chance to restart this race here at the front. So Dullard's, he's been charging from behind from that second or third spot for most of this race. Let's see what he can do up front. Let's see if his driving style changes a little bit, how he takes that approach into the turn and the line that he takes through the turn. Will that change? Will they keep it tighter? Will he continue to run it in a little bit too hot and open the door there on the bottom?
Pace car lights stay on for one more lap. They're currently working lap number 63. Remember, the stage ending yellow will fly on lap 100. Worth noting, William Hartman, for all that drama, has been able to work his way back up into 6th in that 67 machine. Impressive, Sean, but not the lane he wants to be restarting on.
No, probably not. No. I'd say if we've learned anything so far early on in this race is that you'd probably prefer to restart down on the bottom here at the moment. This track will change, though, over the length of the race, Sam. And you know what? Up top may be where you want to be towards the end. There may be more grip there as we get deeper into this race here today at Martinsville.
Well, you talk about the length of a race, Sean. We've had 6 cautions already, and we've already wrapped up a third of a race in 30 minutes. That's how quick these laps fly by here at Martinsville, even when we do have a bit of yellow. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some green to end the stage. We've got 36 laps away from that point. Michael Dullard in the 31, Kevin Fetty in the 94 as we go back underway here. Dullard, not a great restart. I mean, he's caution already.
Well, that escalated quickly. What happened here? Oh boy, Sean Callis. He's the truck around. Let's watch the replay here. Well, they were scrambling to get restarted, Sam. And Callis just spins the tires. He spins the tires, Sam, and that truck comes right around and gets, unfortunately, more damage on the front end of that Toyota.
So not good news for Callis there, but good news for everyone else. It's just a single car incident. And I can't imagine anyone will be in the pits under this yellow unless drivers at the back opting to get repairs. We'll run a couple more laps here under the caution, and then hopefully we should quickly be back to green. Now we're going to take a quick break here on the GSRC. It should only be a minute or so. We'll be back for the restart. Hello and welcome back to Martinsville for the Lefty Pro 200 here. We are currently working our 7th caution of a race and only coming up to wrap up lap number 71. 3 more cautions and David Gervais will be back on the lead lap. Alright, Michael Dullard and Kevin Fetty once again leading them back to green. Nice restart by Dullard, better than last time, that's for sure. Kevin Fetty has a track to himself in second. He gets down low.
Boy, and Richer is off to an interesting start here with Mark McFadden. Ooh, and McFadden right now is getting a nice run through the middle of the turn, but Richer hangs on down there on the bottom. McFadden, of course, has got to get busy because, well, he's got major company behind him, and William Hartman, Sam.
Yeah, well, Hartman using the high side to get passes done here. I mean, I know he dominated stage 1, but this is impressive, seeing him just blast by other trucks on that high lane here at Martinsville.
Well, Sam, you can do that here. You know what? If you put in enough practice, you can make that high line work for you. It's all about winning the drag race, off of the turn and down the straightaway.
Meanwhile, Dullard continuing to win the race right now. Half a second he has opened up over Kevin Fetty as Hartman pulls up into 3rd place. He is less than a second behind Fetty. Yeah, let's give a shout out to Fetty actually. He started 9th, has probably had one of the cleanest races so far. Knock on wood, hope I haven't jinxed it.
Well, he hasn't been entirely lucky. He did get in a little bit of trouble earlier, but you know what? Kevin's doing a good job. In fact, he had some help getting in trouble there. But yeah, man, he has done very well. Good showing for himself here. Now in second. Watching this battle here, Daniel Jackson on the outside.
Not where he wants to be.
No.
But he is trying to work his way back up to the front here, Sean. Let's not forget he fell a lap down trying to get repairs in that truck after running up the front earlier on in this race. But it's just nice, and we started to give him a shout out earlier. Jackson lives over in the coastal area of the Carolinas, so kind of where Hurricane Florence was doing all its nasty work about a week ago. It's nice to see Jackson back out on track here. Must mean everything went okay for him.
Yeah, and heard from just about everybody at this point. It looks like just about everybody here in the league was spared any real trouble, Sam. Hartman making things very, very tense now for Kevin Fetty. He has found the rear bumper. Toyota and Chevrolet going to war here, Sam. All the while, Dullard, you know, I talked about what he would do on the restart from the front. Well, so far, so good. He's actually backed up his, and there we go. There's the pass by Hartman on Fetty.
So with 20 laps left to go, can the 67 make his way up to Dullard and win both of these opening stages, despite getting a penalty at the top end of this stage?
Well, you know, the times Hartman still turning the fastest laps right now since that last restart. They all belong to him. He is closing on Dullard. We'll see how defensive Dullard's going to try to be when he gets there. Dullard not in this points championship, Sam.
Which of course means he'll just be racing for the win here in that number 31 Toyota Tundra. Must be worth noting, I know these guys changed tyres all about 30 laps ago, but their lap time, Sean, really haven't dropped off that much. Track temperature here today, not cold, not hot. It's 95 degrees Fahrenheit, so hopefully these tyres are working well for these drivers, at least during the short run. Not so sure you'll want to do the full 100 laps of the final stage in one set, though, but we'll wait and see.
And you're not going to need to, Sam, so I mean, that's I think you'll be okay. Honestly, these are great weather conditions today. I mean, it's partly cloudy. It's only 65 degrees outside. This is a good racetrack, and we've not really seen many of the trucks fighting a real loose condition, so it seems like they've got control of the track. It's control of the traffic that's been the issue when we've got these caution flags today. And Hartman, again, starting to close that gap just a little bit more, but that last lap, boy, Dullard was able to actually squeeze a little bit more out of his number 31 Toyota there.
Good battle going on for 7th in the closing laps of this second stage between Jeremy Crandall down low in the 73 and Adam Eisenhower up high in the 86. Daniel Jackson has the is sitting in the popcorn position back there, 9th place, with Judd Danielson rounding up the top 10.
And Crandall had a moment there, Sam, off the turn 2. The rear came out from under him, and then Daniel Jackson just able to go right on by.
All right, so Hartman has caught up with Dullard now. He's trying to look for a way by him.
Dullard's keeping the line tight down there on the bottom, Sam. He's being very careful here not to leave the door open. He does not need to let William Hartman rattle him here. He needs a lot of focus, a little bit of nerve. Again, the important thing, just not to overdrive it. Don't get in too hot. Back up your entry just a little bit, not much. And he is holding it down there. That's going to make it very, very hard for William Hartman to get a move done on him.
And there's only 10 laps left to go in the stage when they come around to cross the line here. Of course, Hartman won't want to rough Dullard up this early on in the race, because that could always come back to haunt him, and Hartman's got championship to race for as they put Rusko a lap down.
Yeah, and Dullard actually, he was the one who made the mistake that last time into turn 1. Coe tries to stay out of the way, and in the process puts himself in the wall. And boy, Hartman really tightening his grip.
Well, of course, what Rusko is hoping for now is that they don't come up and put anyone else a lap down. It doesn't look like they will. The end of the stage is coming up quickly enough, and Coe should be able to get the lucky dog at the end of this stage, which is only 8 laps away. Who's going to win it?
Boy, Dullard has got his hands full here. Yeah, Hartman very loose off turn 2.
He might have burned off his stuff a little bit, Sean. I mean, he's been racing hard these last 50 laps to carve his way through the field. Sure, he may be a heck of a driver, but there's always laws of physics working against you at some point.
And again, that goes back to what I was saying a moment ago. If Dullard can just keep his line tight down there on the bottom, I don't think Hartman's going to be able to get around him on the outside. I don't think Dullard's got anything left. Hartman's got anything left in the truck right now. I agree with you. He has been driving it awful hard since the beginning of this second stage. 5 to go here. Got more traffic, though. A lot of it coming up in front of them. David Gervais and Sean Callis.
Now, the good news for Rusko fans is that Dave Gervais is multiple laps down, so if they get by him, oh boy, Dullard again squeezed up against the wall there. He got into the wall. He's way out of line, but Hartman's out of line too. What Rusko really doesn't want to see is these two put Sean Callis to lap down.
Sam, I think they're going to. I don't know. Well, it's going to be really close here. Dullard is struggling to hang on to this.
Well, Sean's going to see them battling for the lead, so maybe this will encourage him just to pull out of the way of it as they come. Yeah, here they go, sure enough. Oh, Callis, though, not going to leave the door open for him.
No, he's not. Dullard's going to have to earn this one. There he goes to the inside.
Hartman almost going to make it 3 wide there. Gets into the back of Callis. It's going to cost him time to Dullard. So Rusko is now going to be tracked a lap down unless he's able to work out a way to get a wave around under this yellow. 2 laps left to go in the stage. Dullard still holding on ahead of Hartman.
Hartman almost got him back there coming out of turn 2. Their bumpers were almost together on these trucks. 1 lap to go here, Sam.
Hartman's got 2 more opportunities to try and make a run and make a pass stick on the 31 machine, but it doesn't look like Dullard's going to leave him any open doors. Hartman throws it off into turn 3 one more time, tries to get the run exit in 4, and they cross the line with Dullard in front, but and Hartman's going to back off. All right, so Michael Dullard wins the stage. The stage ending yellow hasn't actually flown yet. That's why I wondered if Hartman would throw it in anyway. But no, he backed off. He made sure that Dullard got to stay in front for his well-deserved stage ending victory there in the 31. And boy, Dullard, even though we're saying he's not competing in the playoffs, he does run for points in this season. I don't think he's ran the full schedule, though. But boy, with a race like that, don't be surprised if we see more from him coming up in 2019.
Yeah, listen, Dullard did what he needed to do in that stage, Sam. Again, it was all about the line he was driving, right? That first stage, he was hot. He was always in just way too deep and running up the track. There he was able to maintain that over most of that run, and that really didn't give Hartman any chance at all to get by him as they all come down the pit lane now. It's going to get busy here. Everybody coming in.
Once again, they're really leaving gaps between each other heading into the pits. I don't know if it's an optical illusion that Martinsville Speedway's provided me, but I mean, Dullard hit his pit stall perfectly, And I don't see how he's going to lose this race out of pit road, except for the fact that William Hartman has an early pit stall because he started on pole. Nope, sure enough, Dullard wins the race off of pit road. And the only trucks that stayed out were up-down trucks. So, we're going to take another quick break here on the GSRC after a rather clean end to stage number 2. One more stage left to go, 100 laps left to decide our winner here at the Lefty Pro 200. Pace car is off. A battle between Dullard and Hartman resumes, and Dullard knows how strong his competition is, gets a nice launch off of the line as just 94 laps left to go now. Hartman down low, Fetty into third, McFadden and Donahue battling for fourth. Roscoe, you see, going into the pits. That will put him a second lap down, so bad news there for the driver for 420. Good news for the drivers in the playoffs, so that they'll be able to score some big points tonight. But who will score the most? Dullard, let's not forget, is not a playoff driver. Hartman is, and Hartman gets into him. Straightens him out, no caution.
Oh boy. Oh, they definitely tangled it up. Here's the replay. You're going to see Hartman dig in there to try and get that lead away. And boy, maybe even a little bit of what we like to call net code involved with that, Sam. Hard to put that on either driver with that.
As we come back to live action, you see Dullard does continue to drop back. He's all the way down to 6th now. Fetty was the driver to capitalise and move up to second. McFadden now third. He's battling Adam Eisenhower in fourth.
Yeah, Eisenhower trying to make the move on the top side. Couldn't get it done. Boy, but really, really up under the bumper there. That's a battle for third. Look who's just behind them there, Sam. Daniel Jackson. All of a sudden, that number 84 has got some legs.
Daniel Jackson, if I recall, in the opening round of the playoffs, the first 3 races, he had great stages 1 and 2, but things fell apart from him in stage 3. It looks like he's had a bit of an inverse of that today. Didn't have a good stage 1 and 2, but now here he is coming back into the top 5 in this final stage.
Eisenhower trying to get this done up here. Oh boy, and McFadden really struggling down there in a number 48. Eisenhower able to scream away, take the 3rd place spot. Here comes Daniel Jackson trying to do the same thing.
Mark McFadden was able to salvage the top 10 finish at Talladega, which allowed him to advance into the second round of the playoffs. He has a good run going so far. He was in 4th. Even if Dullard gets by him here, he'll still be running a solid 6th place finish. Well, finish in 86 laps from now, but 6th place for now.
Dullard gets that position, and Another one down there for McFadden. Hartman not running away yet, Sam. Kevin Fetty still within a second here. Good strike. Looks like Judd Danielson is in the pit and not coming out here at this point, Sam. No, I take that back. I'm sorry. I thought Judd was in the pit. He's not. He's on track. Yeah. My bad.
Yeah, Judd Danielson being shown a lap down. We actually have 14 of the 15 starters still out there on track. Roscoe, David Gervais, and Judd Danielson are all off of the lead lap. Jeff Martin is our only retiree so far this race. 11 trucks still out there on the lead lap, but soon to be 10. Because even though he got the lucky dog under the last caution, Sean Callis did not opt to come into the pits and get tyres and clean.
Yeah, well, he's behind what's going on right now. You're seeing on screen, and that's Russ Coe and David Gervais mixing it up, and Callis trying to come through this and try and keep the leaders away from him.
I'm not. As Callis gets into Gervais there. Yeah, I'm just not sure why Sean didn't come in. And, when you get the lucky dog, you get a free pit stop. Take tyres, because now he's about to go a lap down to William Hartman, who's quickly closing in on all of this.
Boy, and Hartman's going to have Gervais right in front of him here. He's kind of boxed in. This could be opportunity for Fetty. He's got to get on it. Nope, Gervais is going to stay out of the way.
Yeah, unfortunately, Gervais backed off so much, Callis almost got right into the back of him, and now they're side by side, and Fetty's got nowhere to go.
Yep, this is crippling Fetty's attempt to catch up to William Hartman. Now Fetty's the truck that's boxed in. Can get here under Callis into the turns. Callis going to give him space. Callis is going to let him have it. Fetty, though, loses a lot of time there. Sam drops to about almost 2 seconds now.
Yeah, nice thing for Fetty is that we still have about 80 laps left to go to end the stage where he can try and run Hartman down. The bad news is no one's been able to run Hartman down all race long, and he's got 2 seconds between them, and 80 laps goes by in a hurry here at Martinsville or Kingston Green.
It does, and it's continuing to open up more. And boy, Callis almost just ran Fetty over back there in turn 2. Callis maybe going to back up his entry a little bit here now. Callis driving that truck really hard.
That was Daniel Jackson drifting through the turn after being held up by David Gervais there in the lap truck. That's going to cost Jackson 5th position to Mark McFadden. It was Michael Dullard who Jackson had been racing with, so Dullard will take 4th place. Adam Eisenhower, by the way, is the driver currently running in 3rd.
Gervais
go
in a bad spot.
Here.
Boy, Jackson smartly backs out of it there. That was too close for comfort. Now Donahue trying to slip in here. Oh boy, Sam, everybody in the same spot at the wrong time.
Yeah, Judd Danielson had to back out there to stop it from going 3 wide. Daniel Jackson, once again, now of that lower groove. He might be challenged from Mike Donahue, as you just caught there, Sean.
Yeah, Donahue all of a sudden trying to be a player in this thing. Honestly, I don't like McFadden's line. He's trying to protect the bottom, but when he's doing that, he's tightening up the truck and he's scuffing off a lot of speed down there. And there you go. Daniel Jackson here you go. See you later. He gets right around, and here comes Mike Donahue now. Going to do the same thing. Now, McFadden's got to work a little bit more at trying to let that truck roll off the turn. Look at this. Danielson's now with a shot to get around him.
So lap traffic really mixing things up here at Martinsville. In fact, even closed the battle for 3rd in a little bit with Adam Eisenhower now only a few tenths ahead of Michael Dullard.
They've really started to spread out. Certainly the top three have really spread themselves out. Then you've got this kind of log jam of trucks back here. It starts with Daniel Jackson, Donahue, McFadden, Ray Richard, Robert McFarland, a couple of lap trucks mixed in there. Danielson really looking wild back there as he's not in a position battle with the 48, but they're on track next to each other, and it sure looks like they're battling at the moment.
They are. Oh no, I'm sorry, you're right, they're not. Danielson off of the lead lap. Meanwhile, not missing anything up front, Hartman continues to lead by 2.5 seconds, although make a note that Feddy has actually been a tick faster than him the last couple of laps.
Yeah, Feddy hasn't... I love the drive that Feddy's had tonight so far, but he hasn't shown me he's got enough consistent speed to catch our leader here, William Hartman.
Well, he doesn't really need to do that though here, Sean. You mentioned it just there. He's had a good race tonight, and right now he sits 6th in the points on the outside, looking in to make it to the championship finale as a playoff contender. This is the kind of run he needs. Meanwhile, Daniel Jackson just cleared. Oh,
Eisenhower, mistake. Yeah, we were just about to talk about it. Eisenhower, the mistake coming out of 2. This opens it up for Dullard. He's down on the bottom. Dullard, his run faded a little bit after leading a lot of that second stage. But here we go. And I get door jamming in the middle of the turn. Oh no! Eisenhower slaps the inside wall. That truck is very, very slow down on the apron. He's going to try and get back to the throttle. Comes back right next to the 48 of Mark McFadden. We've got a replay, Sam.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was Jackson's mistake getting in there too deep and getting into the side of Eisenhower. But boy, Eisenhower just... I don't know if it's just because there was no grip out there, but he never really did a good job of recovering it. He's still trying to drive it off the turn, just completely runs out of track, and that did more damage to him than what that initial contact did.
Yeah, and he's continuing to drop through the field now as Robert McFarland just cleared him. Now Jeremy Crandall's going to get down on the inside and pull off that move. And poor Adam Eisenhower's got a really, really hurt truck right now. That Chevy needs repair. He could certainly use a caution, Sam, but I don't know if the rest of the field agrees with him.
They might start to agree with him, Sean, as this track does start to get a bit dirtier off the racing line. The lap times are showing that with these beat-up trucks and 30-lap-old tyres now under green flag racing, probably the longest green flag run we've had all night, the lap times are falling off by about half a second, which at some places you'll say, well, that's not a lot, but here, where a lap is only 20 seconds to start with, it's pretty significant.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sam. I think what we're seeing William Hartman do right now is actually manage his tires just a little bit. You see this battle going on there between Crandall and McFarland. That is for 8th place. So we do have some good racing going on here through the field. Callis being put a lap down there by those two as Crandall gets by. Here comes McFarland. Crandall started all the way at the back of this field, Sam. Remember, he didn't even qualify.
Yeah, and he was involved in a couple of early incidents, but has been one of our drivers that has survived so far and kept it on the lead lap, and that's yielding him an 8th place run right now.
Look at this. Daniel Jackson's caught up to Michael Dullard. Again, I think Dullard's been his worst enemy here in the 3rd stage. But starting to tighten up the line a little bit. This could make it tough for Daniel Jackson to get around. Jackson's been fighting the damage on the front end of that Toyota since, well, early on in this race, Sam. It could make it very difficult, again, for him to pull out a pass here.
Yeah, as we mentioned, though, talking about drivers struggling in the third...
Eisenhower slow on the track, on the front stretch. Truck just rolling right now, Sam.
he might have blown the engine. He took a really hard hit, and he's going to pull to the grass and stop it and hope to not run out of caution, I should imagine. He might even pull off into the little bay here. There's a bay on the left side. Oh, that works too. I have a feeling he blew the engine as a result of a damage when he hit that wall hard a few laps ago, Sean.
I think you're right. I think he was fighting the gauges, and I think the poor old truck just finally gave up on him. They're not bulletproof, Sam. Much as you'd like them to be, they're not. And, boy, that's a tough way to go out for Eisenhower.
Not to say anything about his paint scheme, but the green pig blew up. Got hit by one too many birds.
Battle for sixth place shaping up here a little bit. Ray Richards starting to put the pressure on McFadden. Jeremy Crandall kind of been a thorn in the side all night. He's still battling here. Crandall with a almost opening there for Ray Richards. Richards got to be careful here. Every time we've seen someone leave the door open, Sam, an opponent has tried to take advantage of it.
That's the way you gotta race around here at Martinsville. We're quickly approaching lap 150, 50 laps left to go. We definitely didn't do the opening 2 segments of 50 laps without a caution in them, so this is, without a doubt, the deepest any of these trucks have been on tyres throughout the day. I'm sure they're hurting, and as a result, we're seeing the field getting more and more spread out. The lap traffic has broken away from each other, so it makes it a bit easier for our lead lap trucks to pick them off. Just worry about one truck at a time. But definitely we've seen sliding around for some of these drivers as we reach the deep part of this stage. It does make you wonder who's going to be the next victim of a very close walls here at Martinsville.
Well, as the tires start to go off, the fuel lightens up, the truck will definitely loosen up, and we may see a few drivers start to fight that loose condition in the closing laps of this race. With only 50 to go right now, Sam, our leader just got by Sean Callis, but Callis another lap down, unfortunately. But it's all about William Hartman right now. He's still got an over 2-second lead on Kevin Fetty. Fetty, I will admit, Fetty is soldiering on really well. William Hartman probably not driving the truck as hard as he could right now. Again, we talked about it a little while ago, probably trying to save the tires just a bit here so he stays consistent through the end of the run. A run that I think he's going to get to the checkers, Sam. This field's spread out, and again, short of someone making a tremendous mistake, this could be a run to the checkers.
Well, there is a battle closing in for sixth place between Malcolm McFadden, Ray Richter, and Jeremy Crandall. All of those trucks, we've been keeping half an eye on all of them, but boy, in the last 50 laps here, something could be brewing here with these three running for position nose to tail.
Well, it is the best battle on track right now, Sam. No shame in that. It's been a good one, and these three are fighting really, really hard. They're coming up on Gervais now. Gervais gonna stay out of the way here, keep it up on the top side. Richard stays in line on the bottom. Looks like all three here gonna not really do anything too fishy. Oh, close moment. Gervais was a little loose off of 2.
And Gervais now running 6 laps down, but he is on the same lap as Roscoe, so those two are going to have a bit of a battle. In fact, these three will be catching up with that lap track of Roscoe in the not too distant future. McFadden still holding on ahead of Richard, ahead of Crandall, and not too long, unfortunately, for these three drivers. They'll soon become lap traffic themselves, such is the pace of our race leader, William Hartman, who has increased he's added another half second onto his lead over Kevin Fetty, who I've got to wonder, Sean, if Fetty's not just saving his stuff as well. He doesn't exactly have any pressure from behind from Dullard right now.
Sam, that's a great point. Fetty may be at a point right now where he realizes, hey, you know what? This is as good as I'm going to be tonight. I can finish this race in second, take home some great points for it. Nothing. Yeah, a win is nice, and that's why we race. But right now, protecting the truck with only just over 42 laps to go, I think that's key for Kevin Fetty. He's done a great job. His line looks good. Not seeing him overdrive these turns at all. He's been very, very stable on the exit. The Chevrolet responding well to the driver behind the wheel.
And it almost so should be said, I believe Fetty was involved in some kind of crash or incident at every race in the opening round to the playoffs. So the fact that, knocking on wood once again for the driver at 94, the fact that so far he has had probably one of the cleaner races out here, he's a driver who really needs that if he wants to advance to the championship.
Yeah, Sam, the importance of just finishing out this run solid right now. Listen, this is the high point of the season for him right now. He's got to finish this race well. He wants to stay in this championship. And, well, it's been a good night. I mean, listen, you start in ninth at Martinsville. You managed to work your way up through the field, show good pace. You deserve to finish well this evening. But he's still got these laps to get in. Anything can happen here. Like I said a few minutes ago, I think we're looking good to get to the checkers, but man, I don't know. We'll see here. Traffic's got to behave when everybody's coming through. In fact, Hartman is coming up on the battle that we've been watching for quite a while now. This one between McFadden, Richer, and Jeremy Crandall. Richer has got the inside up front there on the 48.
Yeah, Richer has definitely been starting to poke his nose down there a little bit more, and now he's finally going to make that move. And a big slide down by Crandall.
Yeah, and I'm afraid Crandall has driven his truck too hard early, and his truck is starting to go away on him. But now he finds himself in the precarious position here of defending against the leader of the race, William Hartman, and he's in too hot, way too hot. Oh.
Yeah, we're getting a replay of a previous slide, but we'll catch what Sean just mentioned to you, because after this, Hartman just... Okay, well, we go back to live action now. But after that, Hartman just threw it into the turn. He almost spun out right in front of our race leader. But the good thing is that he almost spun out right in front of the race leader. He didn't, and Hartman was able to get by, and Crandall went out. So 7 trucks left on the lead lap, soon to be 6 as Hartman comes up to put Mark McFadden there a lap down. McFadden, one of those drivers, though, on the outside looking in to make a championship force. So the fact that he's having a decent run so far here tonight in 7th place will be a good result for him.
Boy, Ray Richer made tracks, though, didn't he? He sure was. Once he got away from them, he really got away from them. And Richer is, he staked himself to just about a 1.7 second advantage on McFadden at this point. And the only guy in his mirror he needs to worry about at this point is our leader, William Hartman.
Sean, I'm making that point about the fact that 7th place finish is a decent run, but honestly, I kind of want to take that back, because with the exception of Chris Scala, who's not here, our lowest running playoff driver right now is in 10th. So all of a sudden, if you're talking, the drivers you're competing with for the playoffs are all running in the top 10, you really need to be up in 1st or 2nd or 4th, like Jackson is, to pull away from the other guys.
Exactly. And, making this point about Kevin Fetty's run so much, the importance of it. And, it's critical here. This season is wrapping up. David Gervais in the middle of the track here again, as Calloused and Dullard fight for not a position, but Dullard trying to just find space on the track here to get through as Daniel Jackson comes down below him. Oh, Sam, here we go.
Jackson, oh boy, getting too close there. Dullard thought he was clear. He was never clear, but able to save it by going into the pits, and we stay green.
Dullard has the unfortunate incident there of sliding into the pits, and that is going to drop him several laps, Sam. That's not going to be good.
Might even get a penalty that they might not clear for speeding on pit entry. I'm sure he was. Nice to not wreck there, but I mean, there just wasn't really room for it.
He parked it on the pit lane, Sam.
You know, a bit of an ambitious move to make, considering the fact that the driver to his inside there, Daniel Jackson, was a playoff contender, but Jackson survives it. And what that does mean is now all 7 of our playoff contenders here are running in the top 9. The last of those, by the way, is Judd Danielson. In fact, let's give a shout out to the only 2 drivers out there who aren't part of the playoffs. It's Jeremy Crandall in 7th and Robert McFarland in 8th. Robert McFarland was one of our original playoff drivers, but was eliminated last round after Talladega.
William Hartman back here digging to finish this race. He's got the truck of Ray Richer in front of him. And Ray Richer hanging on to the top 5 on the lead lap at the moment. Maybe not for much longer here, Sam. Maybe Hartman decides to back off. I don't know, because they've got more traffic up in front of them. Gervais, Donahue, and Russ Coe. Coe's still riding up along the top side, still making contact with the wall, and he almost gets into Gervais there. Hartman's got to be really, really careful through this traffic coming up, Sam.
Yeah, the good news is Hartman has 5 seconds to spare before you get to Kevin Petty. The bad news is he's just got a hornet's nest in front of him, and he needs to get by it. He's up. Oh boy, they could go 4 wide here.
This is not good for Hartman. Oh, jeez.
But he's being careful, and he can afford to be careful. He's got a lot of time behind him. Granted, Fetty has just 1.5 seconds out of Hartman's lead, but Hartman still holds a 3-second lead. He's gotten by one of those lap trucks. He's got to get by 2 more. Worth noting, Ray Richards not exactly a slow truck, Sean. He's running in 5th.
No, he isn't. He's trying to stay on the lead lap. I mean, I don't blame him, but this traffic is not helping our leader, William Hartman, at all. If I'm Kevin Fetty, I am standing on it right now. The only problem for Fetty is he's going to have to get through this same amount of traffic, too. He's got to get through these guys also. But that was not an easy trip through for William Hartman by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, the good news for Fetty is this lap traffic has kind of broken up a little bit now after all letting William Hartman by, so he shouldn't have as hard a time. But now Hartman has cleared the lap traffic, and he still holds a 2.5 second lead.
Sam, we've got under 20 to go, man. This race is finding there's light flickering at the end of the tunnel. We can see the finish line in sight.
For Fetty, there's still too many laps left with the amount of lap traffic in front of him. Now, once again, we'll emphasize the same point here that Fetty doesn't have to. He can afford to be patient getting by this lap traffic if it causes him any issues. He's got 10 seconds over Daniel Jackson in 3rd. A whale of a run so far by Daniel Jackson, by the way. Considering he was a lap down earlier on due to the damage on the front end of his 84 machine.
Well, Sam, I got to be honest. I'm pretty impressed here by this 3rd stage. They've put in a good one for us.
Yeah, we had 8 cautions in the first 100 laps, and not a single one in the last 100 laps, at least so far.
We do have a battle for position here. Gervais and Coe. Coe all of a sudden finds some pace left in the number 420, and he is really battling Gervais hard. This is 412.
Looks like Coe's gonna edge him out in the 420, but as you mentioned, Gervais trying to keep his momentum up high. Robert McFarland is the driver with the windshield for this front row seat. Not the front row seat he'd like to have. He'd like to put these guys in the rearview mirror.
He sure would. McFarland obviously ahead of them on laps. He's actually riding in seventh right now. So he would like to clear them as quick as possible and get back to racing. But Sam, we're all running out of laps. Our leader, William Hartman's going to come across the line with 12 laps to go here in the Lefty Pro 200.
For those of you short track racing fans, there's more short track racing coming up on the Global SimRacing Channel tonight, but you'll have to head over to our friends on the iRacing Esports Network on YouTube to capture it. We'll be racing the Lionheart IndyCars at Richmond Raceway.
Go ahead, Sam.
Well, I was going to say, hopefully they won't have more than 8 cautions, but we'll see.
Well, we've got our old friend Bill Soupson and our resident IndyCar driver, former IndyCar driver, Richie Hearn on the call over there tonight. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a full field of Dallara IR18s at Richmond Raceway.
But before that, we've got this race to wrap up with 10 laps left to go now as our race leader comes around to the start-finish line. And Hartman will cross it one more time with a 3.5 second lead over Kevin Fetty. And now just 9 laps left to go. And what a whale of a job early on in our opening 100 lap Sean, when we saw 8 cautions. Even though some of our playoff drivers were involved in them, in fact many of them were, they all survived. That they've all kept it going. And as we mentioned, Judd Danielson is the one who came worst out of all of it, and he's still running in 9th.
Right, exactly.
The good news for Judd Danielson is he enters the second round of a playoff second in the points. He came in with some bonus points, so the fact that he's running just a few spots behind his rivals won't upset him too much. Of course, a victory here tonight for Hartman will lock him into the championship playoffs. But as is the case with the way this playoff scheme works, not everyone's going to get in by wins, because there's only 3 races left to decide 4 spots at Homestead, and so one driver at least has got to make it in through points.
You know, I didn't think Donahue, or I'm sorry, I didn't think Hartman was actually going to catch traffic.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Crandall
was to the back of Judd Danielson, and it looked intentional down there. Oh, and it's actually 4 position. Judd Danielson just took 8 from Crandall.
Well, we've got a replay of it here. Let's look at it. I missed it, so let's catch it here. Crandall just driving it in deep there. He gets right up on the border bumper at Danielson. Kind of moves him out, tries to move him out of the way, Sam.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what you want to be doing when you're not a playoff driver and you're right in the rear bumper of a playoff driver, but whether it was intentional or not, they both got away with it, and so now all 7 of our playoff drivers racing tonight are in the top 8.
Well, our leader, I think, is content to stay behind Mike Donahue. I don't think he feels any urgency to drop him. In fact, I can tell he has really backed it off big time. William Hartman's got 2 laps to get around this track to win the Lefty Pro 200.
Pretty much 1 mile left to go for the driver of this 67 machine. As we mentioned, he was the dominant driver during the regular season, came into the playoffs with a healthy points lead, and as he takes a white flag to start the final lap here, he must have been very glad he came in with that healthy points lead, because round 1 of the playoffs didn't really go his way. He encountered some misfortune, wasn't able to get a win in one of those 3 races, but he's going to start off a second round of the playoffs with a win here at the Lefty Pro 200 at Martinsville.
And Sam, we get a green flag, the checker finish there, a nice run at the end. Was that almost, well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't quite 100 laps, but it was 98.
And as all the trucks cross the line, William Hartman, Kevin Fedde, Daniel Jackson, and Mike Donahue are 4 drivers on the lead lap. And as we mentioned, our 7 playoff contenders all finished in the top 8. Well, as William Hartman burns it down on the front straight, we're going to take a quick break here on the GSRC. We will be back with a full race rundown and driver interviews. Don't go away.
We are back here at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. Remember, folks, Virginia is for lovers. The Lefty Pro 200 has just wrapped up, and what a race it was. Let's run down the results. William Hartman, our big winner tonight. Kevin Fedde has a great drive this evening. He'll finish second. Daniel Jackson with a big third-place finish. Mike Donahue, I'll tell you what, the Miller truck tonight was good. It was good enough to finish fourth, and fifth is going to go to Ray Richer. Falls a little bit short there. He was digging for that fourth spot. Mark McFadden is going to finish sixth tonight. Robert McFarland in seventh in a double out. Judd Danielson in the Lefty Pro truck tonight. He'll finish eighth. Jeremy Crandall with a ninth place finish there in a number 73. 10th going to go to Michael Dullard at number 31. Michael was up front. He led and won the second stage this evening. And he'll finish 10th. And on down to 11th, it is Sean Callis. Rough night for Callis in his truck, but he does finish the race there in 11th. Russ Coe brings the number 420 home in 12th. 13th going to go to David Gervais. Adam Eisenhower 14th. And Jeff Martin, of course, out early in this race, an unfortunate victim way too early. But that is the 15 trucks that started and finished. We've got our winner, William Hartman, and we're going to get him in here and talk to him and see how he is celebrating right now. William, I thought we had him there. Hang on just a second. We'll have him here in a minute. There's William Hartman. Boy, the celebration down there must be intense right now for you and the team.
Oh, yeah, that was this is an amazing night. This is honestly one of the tracks that I've always wanted to cross off the bucket list to win one of these races at, and it's awesome to get it done here, especially with the playoff implications. Just a great night overall.
It really was, and you seemed to really have control of the truck. I mean, it was driving. It seemed like it was driving itself at times. Tell us about your line.
Yeah, I mean, tonight just knew we were going to have to stick it on the bottom and just try and protect as much as possible. I'm telling you what, the guy that finished second, Kevin, he was really, really having a great night too. He definitely kept me honest the whole last run there, and I think he was actually a little bit faster than me at certain portions. So my hat's off to him. He had a great run too. But yeah, it was the truck was handling perfectly tonight. I couldn't ask for anything better.
I mean, we talked about it during the race. I mean, partly cloudy, 65 degrees outside, only about 95 to 97 degrees on track. That's really doesn't get much better for Martinsville, does it?
No, the truck was really gripped up the whole night. I think the weather conditions were perfect to make for some great racing. You were even able to do a little bit of passing on the outside if you really had a strong truck. So it was really cool to see that, and really cool to see a great race, especially that green flag run at the end. Pretty rare to see that at a place like Martinsville. So very cool that the guys here at SSCA could do something like that.
Well, you guys have given us great races all season, so I'm not shocked, but it was nice to see it. How tough was it managing the truck on a long run? Did it really loosen up on you much?
Yeah, it started to there about the 50 lap mark or so of that last run. Really started to have to manage the tires pretty well. Luckily, the balance stayed pretty consistent throughout the run, but you definitely were starting to see a fall off in lap time there at the end. I knew I needed to save a little bit just in case we had a late restart, so I was trying to protect as much as possible, try and save as much tire as possible. But like I said, Kevin kept me honest the whole time. I never really had a time where I could kind of lay back and try and save tire. I had to keep pushing the whole time. So, yeah, it was just a great race overall.
Well, William, who made the win possible tonight, buddy?
I got to thank all my teammates over at Savage. Those guys are awesome. We put together great practices and stuff like that, and they help me out all the time, learning every single time. So thank the guys at SSCA, and of course you guys for putting on a great broadcast for us tonight.
All right, and that is William Hartman, our winner this evening here in the Lefty Pro 200 from Martinsville. And we don't have unfortunately, we don't have a grandfather clock for him, but we'll see if we could work that out over the holidays. Let's talk to Kevin Fetty next. Fetty was the man trying to get there, the man trying to catch William Hartman. Kevin, how frustrating was that for you there over that last segment?
I honestly can't say I was frustrated, Sean, because I was just impressed there were no cautions in that last segment. I mean, 100 laps at green at Martinsville is absolutely amazing. So tried to keep up with William, and I could see where I would a couple laps I'd gain, a couple laps he'd gain, and then I figured by the time we hit the thickest part of the lap traffic, he probably had it well in hand.
Well, listen, you haven't had the best luck. I mean, you were fast at Mossport and Vegas, but you had crashes there that led to less than stellar results. You pull in a 13th at Talladega, but it was enough to get you here. How about a win? Can we mix one in here? Can you lock yourself into that final round?
I'm eyeing that race at Texas next week. Texas is statistically it's my best oval, so I've got high hopes of making some noise there. I honestly hate Martinsville. I made a joke in practice earlier this week that they just might as well tear it down and build a fishing hole here. But I might back up on that statement here after tonight.
All right. Well, I tell you what, you just pissed off everybody in Virginia. So there you go. But hey, listen, Kevin, what do you have to say to your sponsors and your friends?
I just want to say, first of all, shout out to the guys in the SSCA trucks for that long green flag run. That was amazing. And I want to thank my teammates at Savage Drive. They are the best team anybody could ask for, and we bounced stuff off of each other. I think we had four teammates in the top 5 tonight. So that says a lot about the quality of the guys on this team and our willingness to put in the work. Other than that, I want to thank Gary and the league, and you guys especially. You guys put on a great show for the fans out there, and I appreciate y'all very much.
All right, and how's that Mountaineers football team looking this year?
Well, Florence beat us last week, but so far so good. We're 2-0.
All right, sounds good. All right, so we'll unfortunately another win for Florence. Very unfortunate, but Kevin, again, congratulations. We'll see you next week, buddy.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it, my friend.
All right, and that was Kevin Fetty, a big second-place finish for him tonight. He needed those points. He needs a win, too. But let's talk to Ray Richer. Ray, with a 5th-place finish tonight, he started 4th, Ray, that was quite a slugfest out there for a while. How did you manage to survive to the end of this thing?
I'd have to say right now, survive is definitely the word, especially here. These long runs kind of kill these tires pretty quick. I mean, the first 50 laps, no problem, kind of kept up. Obviously, tried to dive to the inside as much as possible and watch for somebody ahead of me to make a mistake. But, dude, I'm telling you what, first two segments, I mean, it was just a lot of fun. I mean, it got towards the end there, obviously, and when we hit the third segment, when we get to lap 50, these tires just wanted to just give up. I mean, it became so tight. And I followed McFadden for quite a while, and I was just hoping for him to kind of make a mistake. He made 2 or 3, but by the time I caught his rear end, I had no way to get around him. But otherwise, we survived the night. It was a good time.
It's easy to use up the truck here, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if you run the bottom, you got to kind of keep the binding as much as you can out of it. You got to keep it nice and smooth in and smooth out. It's the only way you can do it, because the minute you overdrive it, you get into a 4-wheel slide on the way in, and on the way out, the rear end just wants to come around on you. I mean, the other thing that when in Savage Motorsports, when we were practicing, was we always kind of tell to we had enough fuel to make it to the end. For what I'm trying to say is try to keep the weight in the rear end of the truck. That helped out massively. So every caution, I was kind of low to the bottom, shutting the motor off, and every bit of weight helped that rear end in the long run. So yeah, but wearing out the tires, yes, but you need that rear end weight to help bite it off the corner.
Well, and you know what, the track, I was just talking about it a moment ago with Kevin. The track conditions actually were pretty favorable tonight, but the racing was intense, especially through those first 2 stages. You think everybody just kind of got locked in for that third stage, or we just get lucky?
I think it got to a point where everybody was just on cruise control. They kind of got their position and they went with it. I mean, Hartman, congratulations for the win. Obviously, part of Savage Motorsports himself. He was phenomenal. He told us to kind of try to arc it, but the minute I tried to arc it, it just wanted to dance out from underneath me, especially in the last 40 laps of the race. But once you get that pattern down, it seems like another 20 laps later, you've got to change it. You've got to back up that corner. You got to steer it a little bit less. You got to think a little bit more on your feet. So yeah, tires mean everything here. We were kind of looking not for a caution. And by the way, SSCA, great job of making green flags at the end there. I mean, I thought it was going to be this way it was in the first segment, over and over caution. I'm kind of glad it wasn't. It was a phenomenal race at the end. Everybody was give and take, and we had a great time with it.
Well, Ray, listen, congratulations to you for surviving. What are your thoughts about heading into next week?
I'm a little rough on the cookie cutters, but I think we'll be able to pull it off. Like I said, Savage Motorsports, Kevin, William, Robert McFadden, Mike Donahue, all these guys, we do a great job at practices, obviously, during Sunday and Mondays when we can. And, man, the feedback is just phenomenal. And obviously right here just shows it. I mean, we help each other so much. And obviously if one of us is faster than the other, we kind of give and take. So as for Texas, I'm actually looking forward to get up there around the $180, $190 range.
All right, buddy. Well, we will see you there. And again, a great run by Ray Richard tonight. And apologies to my director. I just made a mistake there. But I'll tell you what, it was a phenomenal race here tonight in Martinsville, and a lot of fun being with you all. Sam is off to run in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, appearing right now on the iRacing Esports Network. If you don't know what that is, just type it into your YouTube search bar there. It'll come right up for you, I promise. Now it's time to thank, we want to thank our sponsor this evening, of course, LeftyPro.com. Responsible for this race this evening being brought to you. Lefty Productions has over 10 years experience in digital media production. They specialize in aerial drone video and photography, as well as commercial video production, motion graphics editing, and yes, filmmaking. Let them help you turn your ideas into reality. They'll go anywhere to meet your needs. Lefty Productions is a licensed commercial drone operator, because you don't want some amateur running your drone. Now contact Gary over there, Gary at LeftyPro.com, and their website, of course, LeftyPro.com. Now, lots of people to thank here. Let's get to business. We would like to thank all of the organizers and competitors of the Simulated Stock Car Association and the Sim Speed Shop Truck Series for coming out here tonight and putting on a great show. We would also like to thank all of the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts. There you see them there listed on your screen now. Additional thanks goes out to Eric Ekholm and June Lon who bring us this great music you hear on every broadcast. Eric's link for his music and his YouTube channel down there in the description. I do want to thank our team today, Sam, Joe Peak back there twisting and tweaking the dials, Dougie Beard setting up our cameras for us. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. Yeah, we're on social media too. Please join us over there. Sign up with us at Twitter at GSR Channel. Hit us up, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Global SimRacing Channel. And go on over to Instagram. We put up lots of neat, cool photos. GSRC_Graham. All of the upcoming races for our other series are listed on your screen, so check those out. Mark them down on your calendar and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.